And good morning. Welcome to Today at the Races, presented by Fidelity First. I'm Stan Salter along with Naomi Tucker on a big Sunday show to get to. But let's talk about yesterday. We had some nice races out here yesterday. Claudio Gonzalez swept the late daily double. He won the feature, that nice second-level allowance race. He won it with the DeGrom. First off the claim with DeGrom for owner Robert Bone, and Victor Carrasco was aboard DeGrom in the feature, and then Claudio, Victor, and Robert Bone teamed up in the finale with Buddy's Run. So a big day for our leading trainer, Claudio Gonzalez, yesterday.
Well, we've known before that he knows how to get a horse ready off the claim. He looks at the he spots the horse on the track. He's there every day, and he knows what to do with him. So he claims them at the right time, gives them sometimes a couple of weeks, get them really fit. Quite often likes to claim the horse with a bit of backlash, so that would have had really good races a couple back that maybe not everyone has been looking at. Then turns them back out here and wins.
Yeah, so a big day for Claudio yesterday, and we were talking to him a little bit. I was talking to him at the Chris Murs reception last night. As Chris Murs, our racing secretary the past couple of years, he's going out to Santa Anita to be the director of racing out there. We wish him well. He did a great job here, so good luck, Chris Murs. And talking to Claudio, I asked him, what do you think about tomorrow? You got some live ones tomorrow, and he's looking through the PPs. He's like, yeah, I like this one, I like that one. But by like the third or fourth one, I lost track. Basically, Claudio likes all his horses today.
Well, that's a good tip. Bet all Claudio's horses today.
Yeah, I got a few on top, so let's get right to it. We have a nice carryover in today's 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. There it is. It's over $10,000 now in the Pick 6. $10,496. That's going to start race 3 today on the big 8-race program. Tim Tulloch, he has a ticket today for that 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. That'll be close to about $20,000 in the hopper when it's all said and done. So nice carryover today in the Rainbow Pick 6. Now, yesterday morning, you were busy out here at Laurel Park in the morning with at the Jerry O'Dwyer barn. He had some big workers, and of course Shotsky, his big 3-year-old, was out on the track galloping. And let's show you what's going on next Saturday. It's our big Sprint Fest Winter Carnival with 5 stake races next Saturday, another Super Stake Saturday, February 15th, Sprint Fest Winter Stakes, to feature the Grade 3 Run Happy Barbara Fritchie. Then you have the Grade 3 General George, the John B. Campbell for older horses, and top 3-year-olds in the Miracle Wood in the wide country. And talking about the Grade 3 Run Happy Barbara Fritchie and Jerry O'Dwyer, you saw Need Supervision breeze yesterday morning. We have that video. Let's take a look at the work from Need Supervision yesterday morning right here at Laurel Park. O'Dwyer has that filly nominated to the Grade 3 Run Happy Barbara Fritchie.
Yeah, regular jockey Fergal Lynch Breezes are here. Spoke to Jerry O'Dwyer beforehand, and he said she's not the easiest to ride. She's not the easiest to deal with. She can get a bit worked up, but she is very fast. And she looks fast here, but he said she doesn't even look that fast when she's breathing, but she's turning in some great times. Now, she did that work easily here, 47-3, so a very sharp time here at the Laurel racetrack.
All right, so big work yesterday morning from a local filly, Need Supervision. Jerry O'Dwyer having a big run with stakes horses. Also on our website, the recent press releases that have gone out, you can read about Blue Eyed Girl, a local horse who won her last race right here at Laurel Park. She's won 3 in a row. She's making her stakes debut in the Grade 3 Run Happy. Barbara Fritchie also still having fun, turned in a nice workout yesterday morning for Tim Keefe. There's a nice press release on the website about that, and you can read about all the 155 noms, a bunch of Grade 1 winners among 155 noms for all the stake races next Saturday. So big action, and of course still having fun. He's a graded stakes winner already, and he turned in, it looked like, reading the press release, he turned in a nice work yesterday for Tim Keefe. Fergal Lynch was aboard, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that horse in the General George.
Yes, I spoke to Fergal Lynch just after he got off Need Supervision. I had worked still having fun before that.
Okay.
Was very excited about that horse. He was smiling when he was talking about him. Good. So, you know, the horse is getting older, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have the speed.
All right, so that's a big Super Stake Saturday coming up next Saturday. We also have a nice giveaway for our Winter Carnival, the Maryland Jockey Club hat giveaway next Saturday. We're going to have fun for the whole family. kids winter crafts, face painting live, ice sculpting demo. There's a ice wall that has cash and prizes in the ice wall, Naomi. You can take an ice pick and just bang on the ice wall all day long to try to get that cash out of it.
I think you have to find a replacement for me. I'm going to be spending my whole day picking at that ice wall. I've never done that before, so that's a first for me.
It's always a big attraction for our winter carnival, so that's all next Saturday for you. Of course, the big Saturday of the year, the third Saturday in May, the middle jewel of the Triple Crown, the People's Race, the People's Party, Preakness 145 this year, Saturday, May 16th. Tickets on sale now for both the Preakness 145 and Black Eyed Susan, the big day, the Friday before with the Black Eyed Susan, the Pimlico Special, the Jim McKay Turf Sprint. Get all your tickets and information for both Black Eyed Susan and Preakness at Preakness.com. Preakness.com for all your tickets and information. Let's share a recent Preakness memory. It wasn't too long ago. Seems like just yesterday. It was 2014. The Big Red from California, California Chrome. What were you doing back in 2014?
Oh, God, I have to think about it. I think I was in England at the time,
okay.
Riding racehorses, completing my degree. No, that was good. I watched it, and obviously the People's Champion, what a hype around him. What a big fan base California Chrome, I would say, has, but still has. He's now in Japan, and there was a bit of an upset about that because that meant people couldn't go and visit him at TaylorMade anymore.
Sure.
But, you know, we're all following him out there, and we hope he does well.
Well, he won the Kentucky Derby that year. Let's show you what he did that third Saturday in May back in 2014.
Social inclusion on the outside. Pablo Del Monte right on Curlin is closing on the far outside. California Chrome comes into the final furlong with a 2-length lead. Right on Curlin on the outside is trying to catch him. California Chrome reaching for the wire. Another 16 on the outside. Right on Curlin, can't get him. California Chrome has won the Preakness. California Chrome did it. He beat right on Curlin.
And that was the first year that the purse for the Preakness was $1.5 million back in 2014. So California Chrome got a nice big purse there. And, of course, he went over to Royal Ascot. He ran over there. Then they brought him back, and he got back in good form here. And he was still going. He ran in the first Pegasus, I believe.
He did. And he also ran in the Dubai World Cup, finishing second. So he's had a globetrotting career. And he was a Horse of the Year as a 3-year-old, Horse of the Year as a 5-year-old, I believe, as well. He just came back for more every single time. Such a tough horse and such a pleasure to watch him race.
All right, so we wish him well at stud over there in Japan. Well, let's get right to it today. Let's show you a picture of the main track. We're going to have a fast main track this afternoon. There you see them working on it on the inside. We'll have a beautiful fast track. Temperatures about 43 degrees today. Winds northwest at about 5.8 miles an hour. So let's get right to it here. Race 1's going to kick off the popular early pick 5. It's a mandatory payout on the early pick 5 with that industry low 12% takeout. It starts in race 1. Let's take a look at my ticket for today's early pick 5. I have a $48 ticket. I go 2 deep here. Race 1, I think the 6 Crossing the Valley is going to be awfully tough. And the 5 Shack's Hidden Gem, I think the 2 favorites get the job done. One of those 2, 5 or 6 in the opener. Maybe race 2 I can get a little price. I go 4 deep there. I go with the 2, 4, 6, 7. The 4 Late Night Fantasies 8-1. That horse is attractive, maybe at a big price. That's a first-time starter by Imagining. Then you have the 6 Bourbon A Go-Go at 9-2. So maybe I can get a price home there in race 2. Race 3 comes my single, Claudio Gonzalez with the favorite, the 1 Lucky Trinity. That's a nice allowance race for 3-year-old fillies, going 6 furlongs in the third. I'll single there on the 1 Lucky Trinity. Then I go 4 deep in race 4 using the 1, 2, 5, 7. Maybe I can get a little price with the 2 War Tweet's my top pick at 4-1 there in race 4. Then I'm 3 deep there in the 5th with the Claudio as the favorite there. The 1 Chasing the Candy will be tough. But I also use the 5 and the 7 at a decent little brown. The 7 Victory Given's a big 12-1. So that's my big price there in race 5. Let's see if I can get live with the 2 favorites here in race 1, Naomi. We're going 5.5 furlongs, claiming 5,000 filly mares 4 and up. Never won 3 lifetime, and it looks like the 8-5 favorite, the 6 Crossing the Valley, is going to be awfully tough here. I pick her on top, a 5-year-old mare by Redeemed, a big win against Nickel 2 Life, going 7 furlongs last November. 49 Buyers speed figure that day. Then they tried the 10,000 3 Life a couple times, and Maybe that was a little too tough. She gets a nice class relief today. She catches a soft group. You're getting 7 pounds off with the apprentice, Alberto Burgos. I think this mare gets a nice stalking, trouble-free trip on the outside today. She's a 2-time winner here at Laurel Park, and I think trainer Robbie Bales has her in a good spot today.
I've included her as well on my ticket, but I didn't put her on top. And the sole reason for that is that when you look at her 6 and 7 furlong races, especially if you go back to the 29th of November and the 9th of November, she didn't really set that much of speed up front. Her fractions were good, but not as fast as I would like to see over 5.5 furlong. And that was something that I very much take into account when looking at those sprint races, that if they are in front and they're putting up those slower fractions, how are they going to do here over 5.5 furlong, which is a furlong and a half less than a 7 furlong, 6 furlong? Are they going to be comfortable having perhaps a bit of a higher pace, or is this going to be a bit too sharp for her?
Okay, all right. So maybe she's 8-5 morning line. I think that'd be a decent price. So she'll probably be a little bit lower than that. We'll see. The 5 Shaq's Hidden Gem will take some play, but let's take a look at your top pick. You go with an 8-1 shot on top that was eased in her last start. Talk about the 1 Our True Sensation.
I know it's a bit of a value play here. I'd say that's my value play of the day. Our True Sensation, I actually go back a bit further, deeper into her form, and decided that I think this distance might suit her much better. Because if you look at those last 2 races, indeed she was easy, but she went so hard up front in that last 2 races. I'm thinking, okay, so she has that natural speed, and perhaps she'd be much more comfortable with and a shorter trip and being able to go that speed and not being pressured too much. And last time with the race that she got easy, I actually did like the way she looked. Unfortunately, that also didn't play out well for her, but she impressed me in the paddock, so that was something that I took into consideration. And I just thought that this distance might play to her advantage. And I really like the 7 pounds getting taken off here by Leonardo Corujo over this distance. About 2 lengths put on top of that. Obviously depends if you're going longer, it adds a bit more, but even over the 5.5 furlong distance, this can be very useful.
Oh, okay. So I couldn't get to her. I think poor horse management here from an 8% barn last year. They're 0 for 4 this year. She got beat 20 lengths January 11th. Then you run right back, and she was in okay form going short. Why go long? And maybe she had an excuse in her last start. She didn't like the mud. She's 0 for 4 in the mud. But she got beat 20 lengths January 11th. Ease last time. Now they're running right back in 2 weeks. That's why they're winning at 8%. I didn't get to the 1 Our True Sensation. We both like the 5 here. The 5 Shaq's Hidden Gems, 2-1 morning line. Sharp win 2 back here at Laurel Park, and a good second at this level last out.
And last time out, jockey Katie Davis actually lost her stick with about just under a furlong to go, giving her a hand ride. Perhaps that cost her the win there, or I think it did, because you can see that the horse kind of relaxes a little bit the moment she stops. Well, she continues hand riding, but she doesn't hit her anymore, and she kind of lets her roll out, and that was just not enough. So that's definitely an upgrade for me here.
I thought that was a good win, 2 back. Shaq's Hidden Gem is in very good form right now. We both like the 3 here, the 3 Glorious Mystery from the Scott Lake barn. Esquivel rides this filly by Gone Astray. She's in good form. She's been right there her last couple, running against maybe slightly better 75-3 Life up there at Parks.
Well, and Scott Lake's current stat over the last 2 weeks are incredible. He's 3 from 8, 38% win and 63% in money with a 3.90 ROI and an average payoff of $10.60. So I felt, okay, perhaps we need to have a better look at his horses, because he's also flying here at Laurel Park at the moment. Very, very hot stable.
All right, so we like a few of the same horses there in the opener. We have different picks on top in race 1 to kick off that early pick 5. Let's turn the page. Early pick 4 starts in race 2. We're going 6.5 furlongs. Maiden claiming 10,000 for 3-year-olds in this race, and then we start the rolling super high 5 here in this race. That's a low 15% takeout we have in the super high 5. We have it every race with 7 or more horses. This race, not the toughest maiden 10 for 3-year-olds. I'm not impressed by any of the horses that have run in this race. So I'll go with the first-time starter just kind of by default. The 7 Determined Pursuit by Tisway, first-timer for trainer Phil Schoenthal. This Gelding has a nice full work tab here at Laurel Park. A couple recent 5 furlong workouts. A recent 5 furlong workout from the gate. I like that. And we're getting 5 pounds off with the bug Victor Rosales. So you go with the other Schoenthal first-time starter on top. I don't blame anybody going with any of the first-timers here in race 2, because the form of the horses that have run, not the best.
No, I definitely think that there's a great opportunity for any of the first-time starters to run a good enough figure to be on top here. I indeed go with the other Phil Schoenthal trainee. Now, I like this bun. I like the way he turns out his horses. The number 7, I like the work tip. I really like gate work, so I think that's always a great way of getting the horses ready and really setting them up for a good race. But the reason I didn't put the 7 on top is because when I look at the pedigree, the dam was unraced, and so is the 4-year-old sibling Sloth, which is a 4-year-old colt by Drosselmeyer. That kind of puts me off a slightly bit. Also, making debut as a 3-year-old here, I would have loved to see a sibling do something as a 3-year-old or even as a 2-year-old to show that that precocity is there. So that kind of put me off.
All right, see if he can outperform his siblings. But the other Schoenthal debut runner you have from the inside, tough assignment for the 7-pound bug boy here, breaking from the 1 hole, going 6.5 on a first-time starter.
True, not ideal, but I again looked at the pedigree here, and a half-brother by Wagilia, if I pronounce that correctly. Wagilia? Yep. Pronounce that correctly. He won his first 3 starts over 5 to 6 furlong on the dirt, as well as a 2-year-old at Thistledown. So now, perhaps not the classiest of racetrack in terms of, you know, if you see them win at Churchill Downs, you're going to upgrade them immediately. Right. But showing that precocity made me think that perhaps that is something running in the family, and we can see that again here.
All right, so maybe we'll get a decent price on the 1 Inspired option. She's 4-1 morning line. We both like the 2 here, 57 Chevy for Hammy Smith. Ran an okay second at this level back on December 6th, and it's kind of fallen, it's gone the wrong way since then. Hopefully Hammy can get this gelding back in good form. You get Alex Centron today, so you have a top rider on the 257 Chevy.
I've been watching 57 Chevy work in the mornings. That last work, 49-4. He looked to be going faster than he really was, which is the reason I didn't put him on top here. I think that downgrades the horse a slightly bit, like we were talking about needs supervision before. She doesn't look as fast and then puts in an incredible time, whereas he goes out here looking very speedy, but then perhaps the time doesn't back it up completely. So I included him here because of the experience, but not on top.
All right, and we both used the 6 Bourbon A Go-Go here for Carl Duran. Weston Hamilton will ride. The debut was pretty decent. That was encouraging. A good 4th that day. And then got beat 33 lengths last out. First time Lasix. Not sure what happened there. She takes a little drop to the maiden 10 today. Perhaps that'll help here with the 6 Bourbon A Go-Go.
Yeah, the reason I included here was that drop. I looked at that race, couldn't really find any excuses why that didn't work out for him. Excuse me, he's gelding. That puts me off a horse a slightly bit. If there's no excuses, they could have run their race, but they didn't. But perhaps a fitness edge. So perhaps that could mean that coming back here, he'd have a bit more fitness and can get place, and hence we both included him.
Yep. All right. So we like a couple of the same horses there in race 2. I go 4 deep on my early pick 5. I think a wide open maiden 10 there in the second. Let's turn the page. The big 20-cent Rainbow pick 6 starts race 3 today. Nice carryover. It's over 10,000. There it is. $10,496 in the Rainbow pick 6 today. Tim Tulloch, he has a ticket for it. Let's check it out. Let's see how Tim plays it. $57.60 play. He's 4 deep there in races 3, 4. So he has some good coverage there. And let's take a look at his single in race 8. He has the 2 8 Oaks on top. That's the 7-5 favored. A big class dropper for trainer Linda Rice, who's 0 for 3 this year, but she's always dangerous. She has the favorite in race 8, and Tim singles on that mare. The 2 8 Oaks is 7-5 there in race 8. Let's take a look here at the third. A real nice first level allowance condition. Straight 3-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs. This race, one of the features of the day. I had the 3 Pretty Edgy on top. We had a video of that filly, but she's a late scratch, so I kind of had to go with the favored, the 1 Lucky Trinity. Claudio says he likes everything today, and this filly by Al Padrino, she's getting a class release. She was a big second behind Cofactor, who's a real nice multiple stakes winning filly, I believe, and then she ran okay in the Maryland Juvenile. Didn't like the mud at all last out. Didn't like the mud at all, but hopefully she can get back to her best stride today on a fast track.
I had a look at her few races on. Indeed, in the Maryland Juvenile, she got squeezed a tiny bit just at the start of the race. That might, to me, have impacted her speed a little bit as well. Sometimes you can put little fillies off and they kind of just get a bit, taken aback, and they lose their rhythm, lose their stride. Possible excuse, obviously she didn't do that well there, but that to me at least gives me some indication that perhaps there's so much more to expect from her. And then when I looked at some of their other races, she went very wide, and she did continue close, so she has shown some talent to me, and that was the reason that I included her as well.
All right, so we both like the 1 2 2 1. We both like the 4 and the 6. The 4 Girl Next Door was a debut winner last July in the Cal Lynch barn. Anthony Lynch, now the owner trainer of this filly by Bandbox, so we know she runs well fresh. She's just that was a maiden 25. Now she catches some tough fillies here in an allowance race coming off the layoff.
Yeah, but if you look back at the back class of that race that she ran in, the third, Naughty Thoughts went on to be third in a Gin Talking and run in the Maryland Juvenile Fillies Championship. So I thought, okay, she has encountered some other fillies that have shown to have some class, so that is encouraging to me, and hence I included her on the ticket here. But this is a wide open race. I'm very excited to see this. Really good to be having a look at them in the paddock, especially 3-year-old fillies. You can very much see the ones that filled out and look a bit more like colts. Definitely go with those.
Hufflepuff's coming off a little freshening. This filly by Stay Thirsty ran okay for 25 back in early November when the Dilla DeVico barn claimed her. Then they ran her in a stake race to Maryland Juvenile. She had a troubled trip that day. She was in between and she got checked, got beat about 40 lengths, but they've given her some time off. She's come back to the work tab with a bullet half-mile work January 22nd. So, yeah, I think you just forget about that race in the Maryland Juvenile Filly Championship. She's a little rested now with a nice, sharp, recent work.
Very much like that work, indeed. And as you mentioned, she got checked. We can kind of cross out that race. And what I have noticed over the weeks being here is that Damon Dilodovico, I love pronouncing his last name, he knows how to get horses ready off after a layoff. He's had a couple of horses at really good value come in place, second, third, that really show that even though they've been off the track for 6 months or more, he knows how to get them fit. Because I've included her here. I was thinking I'd rather would take her off a second start after the layoff, because then you know they have that fitness edge. But I wouldn't discount her here, especially from that barn.
All right, so nice allowance race for 3-year-old fillies there in the third. We like the same for 3-year-old fillies. Let's turn the page. Late pick 5 starts in race 4 today. No carryover. They hit it yesterday. But as always, we feature that industry low 12% takeout in all the pick 5s here at the Maryland Jockey Club. Let's check out my late pick 5 ticket, a $36 play. I go 4 deep here in race 4. Maybe I can get a price home here with the 2 War Tweet, who's my top pick in race 4 at 4-1. And then I also like the 5 and the 7. The 7 Ortinola is live at 4-1. So I go 4 deep here in the 4th race. My single on this late pick 5 is going to come in race 7. Nice starter allowance. I'll single there on Claudio Gonzalez to 5 Jumping Michelle. Claudio told me this filly likes, she's a 5-year-old mare now. She's made over 100,000. She had a big win 3 starts ago. And then didn't like the slop, ran big didn't like the slop 2 starts ago, ran big last out. Claudio said she likes being on the outside, so she gets an outside draw today. Alex Cintron will ride. I think the 5 Jumping Michelle going to be a show. You had a couple scratches in race 7. Scratched to 3 Timeless Treasure 2-1, and also scratched to 6 Hendaya 3-1. So a couple of the favorites scratched out of race 7. 4-horse field. Claudio and the 5 Jumping Michelle is going to be a monster short price favorite there in race 7. They look like a reliable single to me for this late pick 5. Let's take a look here at the 4th. We're going a flat mile, claiming 16,000. Filly and mares 4 and up. Never won 3 lifetime. I go with a 4-1 shot on top. So do you. Okay, we both have a cold 2-7 exacta here, Naomi. The 2 War Tweet, real good form right now for Anthony Aguirre. And this filly, she's a 3 life filly. I think that race a couple starts ago, she was running out of condition. She ran a big second that day, and then a big second last out here at Laurel Park, going 7 furlongs. Kevin Gomez back aboard for Anthony Aguirre, so we both go with a 4-1 shot on top.
I think this is quite an interesting field. There's a lot of turf form for these horses. So I actually spoke to a couple of trainers this morning going, what is the reasoning behind putting those turf horses in races like this on the dirt? And they said to me, well, the turf is coming up and they just want to get them fit. But then looking at War Tweet, she has some dirt form that actually really stacks up. And that was the reason that I put her on top. She's a great turf miler, puts in really good speed figures there, but showing in those last 2 races that she can do it on dirt as well. Perhaps not at the same level, but good enough to be very competitive here.
All right, so we both go with the 2 War Tweet on top. That'd be a nice $10 winner to kick off the late pick 5. The 7 we both have in our exacta. Ortinola's been right there knocking on the door for Ferris Allen. You get 5 pounds off with the bug. Avery Wisman third at this level, last out on a muddy track. Should get a nice trouble-free trip on the outside today. So we have a couple 4-1 shots on top here in race 4. That'd be a nice exacta box here, the 2-7.
Yeah, the 7 Otinola. She ran a career best when winning an nice allowance here over course and distance last year. Now, obviously, that was last year, but I thought that was good enough back class to put her second for me here. And I like coming from Ferris Allensbahn. I think that he knows how to get those milers ready, so I thought she'd be competitive here.
All right, so 2-7, and then you like the 3 in this race, Division Sunset from the Mark Reed barn. You're getting 7 pounds off with Charlie Marquez. This mare didn't run too well last out, but run second off the layoff today, and Mark Reed with good stats, second off the layoff.
Yeah, like the stats, mare by Can You Ride. Nice start, but perhaps not ideal here, obviously being on the dirt instead of the turf, like I mentioned. But I thought that last race, the distance didn't suit her, and I think that stretching out over miles is just going to be right up her alley.
All right, so let's see if we can get a cold 2-7 exacta home there in race 4. Let's get a quick commercial break. Late pick 4 starts in race 5. We'll check it out right after this.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Okay, here we go. Late pick 4 starts in race 5. We're going a flat mile, 16,000 starter allowance for straight 3-year-olds here in the 5th. Scratch the 2. Awesome at righties. I go with Claudio, the favorite on top here in race 5. The one chasing the candy, 9-5 morning line. 3-year-old daughter, Twirling Candy. She shows speed her last few races. A good third. 3 starts ago against 25,000 starter. She went to the front 2 starts ago against 40,000 starter. And that was a race was a little too tough. Last out, she ran a good second at this level on a muddy track. I kind of think she's better on a fast track. Now she's stretching back out to a mile today. She's the likely pace setter, or at least she'll be close to the early pace here. The favorite, Chasing the Candy, my top pick.
I have to agree with you there. That run on the muddy track last time out, that was very good, but I think she's going to love a fast track so much more. 3 starts back, 30th of November, showed a lot of speed, wasn't on the lead, but was very close, and consistently closed out of that, and that is what I'm looking for. If you're going a lot of speed, I want to see you finish, because if you're just going to go be that early speed, or how do we call it, cheap speed, and then falter, you're not going to go anywhere. And she was able to close out of that and stay with them. Perhaps she didn't win, but that was good enough for me to include her here as well.
All right, so you pick her in the exacta, and you have the 5 on top here. The 5 3-year-old gelding by Flashback for Wayne Potts. Electric Choke's been in good form recently.
Well, I was very impressive with him when I saw him first time last time on the 26th of January. I thought it was a beautiful looking gelding. Has the length and the form and the physical shape that I'm looking for when looking at those miler types. He didn't get a blanket on that time, and he was cold. He was shaking, and that I thought, okay, so he ran cold in this race. How can he beat today when hopefully you get a blanket on, he's a bit warmer, a bit more warmed up, a bit more form into him? I think he can do very well here. I want him to do very well.
He's 3-1 morning line. Katie Davis will ride for Wayne Potts. We both like the 1 and the 5. We both like the 7. We have a video spotlight on the 7. Victory Gibbons, 12-1 morning line. I use this horse in my exacta. Let's take a look at his last race, January 30th against Open 12-5, going a mile. He's the 3 horse this day, going to come in between horses right now with a nice rally. Claudio's in front, I believe, with the 2 L's Meow is going to win this race. Claudio's the 4 there. 2 L's Meow is going to win this race, a sharp win. But I thought a decent effort by Victory given with the apprentice, Charlie Marquez, aboard. Now, Charlie Marquez back aboard today. This gelding only has to carry 112. He's getting weight from the whole field. He proved he liked the mile distance. He's finished second 3 times. He's finished second twice from 3 starts going a mile, so I think he'll be a major factor in the final strides with that nice lightweight assignment of 112 on the 7.
And going back to that last run of Victory Given, we didn't show the stop, but he had a bit of a stumble there. He wasn't as noticeable, but good enough to kind of take him back a little bit, but then he showed a lot of speed to still wanting to go with them. And then as we showed here in the home stretch, he then switched outside late to try and catch that leader, so I upgraded him off that. I think if he gets a bit of a cleaner run, he still gets that nice 7 7 pounds off claiming with Charlie Marquez, who's shown to know how to win here at Laurel Park, that he could be competitive here today.
All right, so maybe it's the 7 victory given, can get into the exacta at a decent price. So we like the same few on top there in the 5th. Let's turn the page here. Race 6 kicks off the final pick 3 of the afternoon. We're going 6 furlongs here in race 6. Scratch the 1, Otis. Scratch both parts of the Scott Lake entry. The 1 and the 1A are scratched out of race 6. I go with the 8 on top here. Paradise Pride. We both have the 8 on top. 7-2 for this 3-year-old. For Mike Trombetta, Pimentel will ride this horse in decent form. He's been knocking on the door at this maiden special 8, maiden 40 level. Now he drops to the maiden 25 today. So I think the little drop here for the 8 Paradise Pride is going to help. He'll get a nice stalking trip on the outside with Pimentel.
And the Mike Trombetta barn. You kind of always want to include them in your exotics because he will always have one going better than his last couple of starts. And the key race for me was 3 races back here at Laurel. I thought he showed a lot of speed and then didn't finish as well as I'd like him to, but I think Mike Trombetta knows how to get them ready, and indeed dropping so much in class here, this is going to be a much easier spot for him today.
All right, so we both agree on the 8 Paradise Pride here, race 6. The 4 I didn't get to, Johnny Jiggle, but you get Trevor McCarthy on this first-time starter for Jamie Ness.
Yeah, I thought first-time starters, Jamie Ness, Trevor McCarthy have incredible stats together, or have good stats together. There are 3 out of 20 over a year here at Laurel. Perhaps not the strongest, because I've seen stronger stats, but it's something that, especially with firsters, I like to see that a barn knows how to get through. I very much liked his work tap. I think that's the reason that I picked him here. Breezed from the gate, 48-4, not the fastest on the day, but he did that handily. I saw him work, and I thought he'd perhaps be good enough to be in the money here of that 55%. Jamie Ness and Trevor McCarthy in the money with firsters.
It's interesting. He was working here at Laurel Park, had to work from the gate here at Laurel Park, so he's familiar with the gate crew at Laurel, but then Ness took him up to Parks for his most recent works up there, and has been working well up there and does attract McCarthy. So you have to respect the connections here of the 4 Johnny Jiggle who you have in your exacta. We both like the 9 Created Special. We have a video spotlight on the 9 Created Special from his last race, a maiden 25, going 6 furlongs on a muddy track. Here's the start. Didn't have the best of starts. Gets a little just a slow start here for the 2 Created Special, who's towards the back of the pack. You're going to see him break from the 2-hole once again. On the pan shot, you'll see him. He kind of has a slow start. After this, he overcomes the poor start to finish second in this race. 4 maiden 25 on a muddy track. There he is on the outside, turning for home. Has a strong rally on the outside to finish second behind 5-card draw. So I thought this was a positive race. This was the best race so far for this 3-year-old by Creative Calls. So I think Juralis has him in good form right now. Weston Hamilton will ride. And here you see him finishing up pretty good last out to be second.
Well, I think there's 2 key elements to take away from this race of Created Special. Indeed, his start wasn't very good. Looked a bit awkward, looked a bit inexperienced, didn't really know where to put his legs, basically. But then he did really get into it, and he went home well. Like that closing effort, but do downgrade him a slightly bit because I felt like he was in the better part of the track. When it's muddy and wet, you see that they close a tiny bit better in the center of the track than they do on the rail. The winner was closer to the rail. So it's sort of a positive and a negative takeaway from him here, but I think that he can be competitive.
All right, so we both like the 9. Let's see who else we like in this race. You like the 7 in here. The 7 is the 7's a late scratch in race 6. Take out both parts of the entry, and I think I had a scratch on the 7, Robert Bob. I could have been wrong. Pete, you guys have a scratch on the 7? I think I saw. Okay, all right, that's my apologies. I don't know what I was looking at on Echo Base. You have the 7 in the mix here, Robert Bob from the Jerry O'Dwyer barn.
I think Jerry O'Dwyer really knows how to work his horses and get them ready for a race like this. I don't really like the form. As you can see, didn't show much, but I feel like this is going to be an easier spot. Like the work on the 11th of January, 48, the 3rd fastest time out of 55 horses that worked over that distance today. So I thought I should just kind of include him underneath in the exotics just based off that.
He's the first first-time gelding, so I think that's why I accidentally marked him as a scratch. But I always like the first-time gelding angle. So see if the 7 Robert Bob with Fergal Lynch can get in the money at a big price. All right, we've talked about everybody we like here in race 6. An interesting maiden 25 to kick off a pick 3. Let's take a look here at race 7 to kick off the late daily double. We're going 6 furlongs here. Nice 25,000 starter allowance for filly and mares. Never won 3. Scratched a 3 Timeless Treasure, who was 2-1. Also scratched a 6 Hendaya, who was 3-1. I had a video on Hendaya. That was my top pick, but she's out. So now the 5 Jumping Michelle is going to be a short price, popular favorite here for Claudio. Claudio told me yesterday this mare likes to run better on the outside, so she'll get an outside journey today. She ran a real big second last out with she got bumped at the start, had a wide journey, and still a decent second with a decent number.
Well, that's interesting to hear that he says that she likes the white stuff. That's very encouraging indeed. And on the 28th of November, that race, that made me upgrade her because she got indeed bumped very badly at the start. And she still tried to go with them using all that energy, but then afterwards, well, after a couple of starts, got taken back because it wasn't working out for her. But then she sort of got a second win and came closing again. She had to go 5 wide, but continued closing. And the winner, Mia Gift, came off here on a 66. Came off this one here and ran 66 bars before the race before. So I thought, okay, she has some class to back this up.
All right, so we both like the 5 Jumping Michelle on top here, race 7. The 1, 2, 3 go. The other mare in the race for Claudio, Make the Rider Angel Cruz on this mare by Hunters Bay. And she finished a good 3rd at this level, 2 back. They tried Maryland Bred Allowance last out. That was a little too tough. A little easier spot today for the 1. She has good form here at Laurel Park. She's 8 for 13 in the money. So we both like the other Claudio mare in this race.
Yeah, I mean, 2 Claudio Gonzalez horses, you have to include them. And the number 1, 2, 3 go. That last race, she bowled a tiny bit at the start and just really struggled to go with them. So I tried to discount that, and this being a bit of an easier spot for her as well. And I liked her other races. I think of average fractions, she continues, and she's shown some good pace figures. So I thought she had to be included here.
Sexy Alma for Jerry Robb, the Robb Barn with a win last night. They're 1 shy of 2,000 for Jerry Robb, 1,000 or 2,000. The X-Man rides this filly by Cairo Prince, a sharp winner last out here at Laurel Park.
I think it's 2,000, but I can be completely
no,
wrong
you're
here.
Right, it is 2,000.
I liked Sexy Am. I actually remember her running here. Very impressive that last win. So she's looking for a double here. I think that it's all a bit about tacticalness here. She's a bit of a closer, hoping she doesn't get into too much trouble and she finds a clean run and doesn't get hampered. I think she can be very good here.
Oh, you're right. It is 2,000. Phil texted me this morning. So Jerry Robb, 1 win shy of 2,000. He's live here with the 2 Sexy Ama. So we like the same 4 here in the 7th race. Let's with the 5 Jumping Michelle on top. That's there's only 4 in race 7. Let's turn the page here. Race 8 is the Quinella race with that low 10% takeout last live race. Every racing day we have the Quinella. Let's take a look here. Race 8, a 5,000 2-life filly and mares 4 and up, going 5.5 furlongs to 3 with a 2-8 Oaks. It's a 7-5 favorite in here. I go with the 3 Chicken Dinner on top though. Trevor McCarthy rides this filly by Outflanker, a good second last out. Didn't have the best break. Let's show you that from January 19th here. Chicken Dinner on a muddy track. The 5-horse this day breaks a tad bit tardy and it's towards the back of the pack there. And you see Chicken Dinner towards the back there. But it's going to overcome the slow start to eventually have a wide trip and rally to finish a good second at this level. 44 by her speed figure. So 2 good seconds at this level since D'Angelo claimed Chicken Dinner back in November. So she's in good form. You get Trevor McCarthy today, so hopefully she can just break a little quicker. And here you see her with a strong finish last out.
Hit Trevor McCarthy back on board again today. That start, I had a couple of looks at it. It wasn't the best. She's a tiny bit awkward, tiny bit upwards, tiny bit left, but not enough for me to completely downgrade her for this race. So I thought she was good, but do I completely say yes, she's so much better than she showed here? Not really, because it wasn't the biggest of excuses. She closed in the center part, the better part of the track. So I thought she's very good, but I didn't use her on top.
All right, so we both like her. You like the 2-8 Oaks on top here. Big class dropper here for Linda Rice, 7-5 on the 2-8 Oaks.
Not going to lie, very much like my New York upstate form. And Linda Rice shows that she knows exactly what she's doing when she's traveling the horses over here. So coming off Aqueduct, yes, not the best of two last starts, but then going back Aqueduct again over the mud, she performed there. She was on a fast track at Belmont. She performed there. So I feel like perhaps this could be her day here today.
Oh, yeah. I use her. The barn brought a first-time starter down here a few months ago with no gate works and took a bunch of money and stood in the gate like he'd never seen the gate before. So I've been a little sour on the barn since then, but they are the big year last year for Linda Rice. She has that big 3-year-old Max Player who won the Withers last weekend. So Linda Rice usually dangerous when she shifts. She has a big class dropper here with the 2-8 Oaks, the 5 on the outside, Lady Rosina for Robbie Bales, a good third last out. Kevin Gomez rides this 5-year-old mare today. We both like the 5, Lady Rosina.
Very much like the combination of Robert Bales and Kevin Gomez. They're at the moment 40% strike rate here at Laurel Park over the last year. So I had to include them based off that. And I like the way she's been running. She's been consistent at sort of this level. Obviously, we're not looking at top level speed figures, but when they show consistency at these levels, I think they should always be included.
All right, so we both like a 2-3, 3-2 on top. We both like the 5. I'll throw the 1 handrail in there, getting some weight off with Charlie Marquez. You like the 6. American Star, a good second last September, comes off the layoff today for Rudy Sanchez Solomon.
Well, I like that last work, the 1st of February. Breezed from the gate in 49-2. Like I said before, it sharpens them up. It gets them going again. It's time for business, shows them what's going on. And yes, of course, it is a bit of a layoff, so didn't put her on top, and she did run slow fractions last time out, so that put me off a slight bit, but I'm hoping that sharp workout can be a key indicator here.
All right, that's it. We're out of time. Big 8-race program kicks off in about 28 minutes. Nice carryover today in that Rainbow Pick 6. That's over 10,000. That's starting in race 3. Start studying for that right now. Industry low, 12% takeout on both Pick 5s. Good luck to you today. I know you're working on a bunch of the packages for the big stakes Saturday, next Saturday. You have the Need Supervision and Shotsky and Jerry O'Dwyer poised to have a big Saturday next Saturday. And we're looking forward to all the stakes horses coming here for our Sprint Fest Winter Carnival.
Absolutely. It's my first time being here during the Spring Fest Carnival. Loved seeing these works. We're going to get them all to you. Love the information that Jared Dwyer and Fergal Lynch gave us. So they'll be all out today.
All right. Good luck to you. Dave Rodman's coming up next with today's scratches and changes. Good luck.